Welcome, everyone, to the December edition of the Today's Woman Show. It is the holidays, a time to reflect and a time to celebrate. We will be reflecting with Louisville's Mayor Greg Fischer, and we have a special treat for you all today with musical performance by our local chapter, the Pride of Kentucky, part of a global organization, Sweet Adeline. Thank you for tuning in. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the December edition of the Today's Woman Show. It is the holidays, a time for reflection. This episode, we will be sitting with Louisville Mayor Greg Fischer. We'll reflect on the last 12 years, the moments he's extremely proud of, the things he'd love to do over, and just everything that has transpired here in this beautiful city of Louisville. Greg, welcome. Welcome. Thank you so very much for being here. Today's Woman is such a staple for women, and so anytime a man comes onto the show to have a conversation with us, we appreciate it, because the reality is that as women, we are really understanding that all issues are women's issues.
That's right.
So thank you. Really appreciate you being here.
My pleasure.
All right, so 12 years, and very soon it is all going to come to an end, and you'll be passing the torch on to a new mayor. I guess the best Christmas gift is that you will be able to spend time with family and those beautiful, beautiful grandchildren.
Well, thanks. Yeah, it's a little bittersweet, obviously. Being the mayor of a great city like this, you can help a lot of people. And it's a wonderful platform to see how we can have human potential flourish. So I'm going to miss that. Now, I won't miss kind of the parts where people aren't very helpful, where people are critical, but they don't have ideas. So it's definitely a bittersweet time. But yeah, we've got 2 new grandkids within the last 3 years, so that was an amazing thing. You know, it's like white doves flying out of your heart every time I'm with them. I mean, I didn't know I had this like new chapter of love in my life called grandchildren. So that's been amazing. So looking forward to spending more time with them for sure.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, I can relate. I have 3 new grandchildren in my life, and it is amazing how much more you can like them than your own kids. Greg, you know, as I sit and I think about the fact that this time is coming to a close, right? And I want to just say, and all the time I tell people, I couldn't do it. Politics to me is tough because you're right. You have people that are super critical, don't lend a hand, want everything changed, have no ideas, and I am certain you've seen no shortage of that. And over the 12 years, I've had a glimpse at a lot of transformation, you know, that's taken place in our city. But the reality is we went through a very, very tough 2020. When you hear people say, you know, the way that he handled that Breonna Taylor thing was terrible or was just performative, you know, how do you respond to that?
Well, what I usually get from people is, I don't agree with everything that you did, but I don't know what I would have done differently. And so it was just an extraordinarily difficult time, you know, because obviously we had the pandemic, and then we had Breonna Taylor's tragic killing. And I think we want to think about her and her mom and her family first. Her mom, Tamika Palmer, has been an incredible soothing voice for the city and the country, and just a real class act as she's gone through this situation that nobody asked to be put under. But I think of an image of like 2 back-to-back meetings in my office. The first meeting is people coming in and saying, you need to defund the police. The very next meeting is people coming in saying, you need to crack down on those protesters. And that's really what that whole time was about. It's like, think about this. First time in 50 years where we've had major racial justice protests in our country. People are going to be uncomfortable. And guess what? They need to be uncomfortable because the work of race in our country still has an awfully long way to go. So you have to protect First Amendment rights, freedom of expression, and then you have to minimize any type of damage to people or property. And it was uncomfortable, but it was meant to be uncomfortable. We have to honor a time like that in our city's history then by being better. I ordered an independent review of our police department because Breonna Taylor's tragedy should never have happened.
Right.
And so did that proactively. My experience as a business person is, and of family members, things are going to happen. The question is, when they happen, what do? Do you run away from them? Do you hide from them? Or do you lean into them? And so that's been my approach in terms of proactively improving the community.
When people dismiss the action that you took with police as just performative, hey, the guy was going to retire, right? Why was it important that you make or send a message by making the decision regardless if he was going to retire or not? Why was that important to you?
Well, when you think about one of the roots of the challenge with Breonna Taylor's tragedy was there were no body cameras evident during that search warrant. Then when the David McAtee incident took place, the body cameras were off with too many of the police officers. We got the body cameras so that they could show the evidence of what's taking place in real time. And unfortunately, they were not on in either one of those situations. And I felt like I needed to send a message to the police department that these body cameras are here for a purpose. They have to be there to make sure that there's trust between the police and the community to show things, whether they're good or bad. We have to have that type of historical documentation.
Well, Greg, obviously there's some things that were tough in 2020, but that is not everything that defines us, right? There were some proud moments that you've had over these past 12 years. What are some of the moments that you're most proud of?
Well, and I do think we can use that summer of 2020 as a moment of defined us about how we reacted and got through it and what we're doing today. So oftentimes in life, you know, there's tragedy and triumph. The way you respond when you're knocked down and get back up can define you. And I think our city should be proud of the way that we've handled that. When you look at the more traditional measures, though, there's been $24 billion of improvements in the built environment of Louisville. So obviously the city's a very different place now. Our skyline has changed. We have new entertainment districts, 100 new hotels. On a fun thing, you know, the creation of bourbonism. Bourbon and food tourism is just skyrocketed, and we're just really beginning now. So we're seeing tourists from all over the world that we've never seen before. One of the things I'm most proud of and why I ran for a third term was to make sure that we had college scholarships funded for every JCPS graduate. So that's the Evolve 502 program. When you think about the root cause of most challenges that come through a mayor's office, it's poverty. And the number one disruptor of poverty is a post-secondary education or credential. So there's many ways that we can go down this. The affordable housing crisis that we took on, over $100 million in investment. The previous record was $7 million in that. So we've had many instances where I think people look back and say this was a transformative time. And our city is being talked about on the world stage in ways that we never were before, in positive and exciting ways. So that was a big goal of mine, to try to change the perception of who we were as a city.
Awesome. If you are just joining us, I am here with Louisville Mayor Greg Fischer. It's a time for reflection as his term comes to a close this December. We will be back after the break with more conversation on everything that he's accomplished, the highs, the lows, and so much more. Make sure you stick with us all the way to the end of the show. We've got a great musical treat in store to get you ready for the holidays.
Snowing and blowing up bushels of fun. Now the jingle hop has begun. Jingle bell,